This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're coming to you from the Sprott Symposium 2018 here in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I have with me today John Borshoff from Deep Yellow Ltd. It's a publicly traded company, and I'm going to give you two symbols. It's DYL on the ASX in Australia, and it's DYLLF on the OTCQB in the US. Welcome back to SNNLive.
Glad to be back.
Pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Let's get started with a brief overview of the company, and I'll ask you some other questions.
So essentially, we are a uranium group specialising in the discovery of resources and taking opportunity from a depressed market. I have a dual strategy, developing projects in our cornerstone in Namibia, and also looking at sector consolidation.
Now, what are some specifics about the property that give you an edge over other companies?
Well, we operate in Namibia, where over the last 10, 15 years, it's been the only country that's developed two conventional mining operations. It has a tremendous jurisdiction that allows operations to develop and operate, and I believe there's no other country like it. It's compete with Australia and Canada.
Now let's talk about your resource, if you would.
So our resource, when I took over from Deep Yellow, as you recall, about 18 months ago, and I came into a company with a market cap of 7 million. It's now approaching 65 million Australian, and we undertook to consolidate the company and sort of extract potential out of some projects that Deep Yellow had in Namibia. We have done that in spades. We have doubled the resource on one project where the previous management had spent tens and tens of millions and found a lot of trees, but they just couldn't see that forest, and that's what we're doing.
So what's your background, and let's discuss Deep Yellow's management.
Thank you. That's a good question. I originally hail from Paladin, a company that became famous in developing uranium projects in the world. It's had an increase of value to 89,000%. It's in the Hall of Fame. It's something that Rick Rule has followed me ever since. And when I left Paladin, retired for 6 months, and I saw a huge opportunity of a downturn how I started Paladin, and that I could get to a company like Deep Yellow, which was in the doldrums, brought my management in there, that we had developed the Langer Heinrich operation in mining operation in Namibia, and I'm very familiar with that country. I'm very familiar with world uranium, and so our dual strategy of developing the cornerstone in Namibia and looking at acquisition projects worldwide suit us to a T.
Now, what is your competitive advantage?
My competitive advantage is that I believe I'm the only management group that has proven itself in developing conventional uranium mining operations, and there is no other management in the world that can take that on. We were the only listed company that developed two mining operations, and we stand unique in that regard.
Now, what are some value catalysts in what you can tell me that are growth drivers?
The growth drivers, they just depend on, every company's got its own little strategy. And some companies have got their mono project, monoculture, and that's fine. They're trying to hone up, and when the price goes right, they will develop that project. Deep Yellow's strategy is that we are trying to get a global pipeline, and get projects that can have a production profile out to 2035, 2040. And so when the price rises, yes, all ships rise at the same and get value, but we will leverage up much higher because of what we've created in terms of value of the company.
John, let's get your website out there for more information for our investor audience, if you would.
Gladly. It's deepyellow.com.au.
Ladies and gentlemen, John Borshoff, Deep Yellow Ltd. It's a publicly traded company, DYL on the ASX in Australia, DYLLF on the OTCQB in the US. I'm Shelley Kraft. This is SNNLive, and we're coming to you live from the Sprott Symposium 2018 right here in Vancouver. John, it was a pleasure to have you back on.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
See you next year.
Yes, sir.